Good evening, viewers and readers of ATC News. Today we have the opportunity to speak to one of Kenya's most accomplished and most widely known hoteliers, Mr. Mohammed Hersi, who looks back at a long and distinguished career with many leading hotel companies in Kenya. Mohammed recently joined Sun Africa Hotels as Group CEO, responsible for the Kenyan operation and obviously looking into the wider region for expansion. And this was, for many, quite an unexpected move. You were very well settled for 3.5 years at Heritage Hotels. What made you take on that new challenge? There must have been some sort of incentive, some sort of challenge you saw in it.
Thank you, Wolfgang. And having spent almost 4 years in Heritage Hotels, it was time to move on. I had stayed close to 10 years in Sarawak, and I didn't want the same to happen again. And I also felt that I had delivered on the mandate that I was given, like turning around the flagship of Heritage Hotels, the Voyager Beach Resort. And I felt, it was about time to move on. And looking around, Sun Africa was the right place for me to get into, because Sun Africa is quite an aggressive hotel group, and we're looking at expanding. We've grown our properties, we're going to 7 properties very soon, and we've just taken over the former Nyali Beach Hotel, which is now Nyali Sun Africa Beach Hotel and Spa. And we want to grow our portfolio all across, not only Kenya, we're looking at the entire region. And the big question I've always asked myself is, why should we wait for the international players to come to Kenya and pick hotels right down our noses? Yet when you look at it, it's only the general manager who's expatriate, maybe the executive chef. The rest of the guys are all locals, they're all Kenyans. So there must be something that is wrong somewhere with us. And we've decided to play in the same league, and we've opted to convince the local owners that taking in a local chain to run your property is also the right thing to do. One, we know the market better, we know the country better than any of these guys, and we're going to compete with them, and we're not going to limit ourselves to Kenya only. We're looking at next door Zanzibar, which is really expanding. We're looking up north in Ethiopia, a country that is really double-digit growth. We're looking even Uganda, Rwanda, which is very stable and looking very, very promising. Tanzania, and even South Sudan. They're not going to be fighting for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Peace is going to return to South Sudan, and hotels are going to be built. Yeah. And those hotels will like people to come and manage for them. And automatically, when you look at it naturally, we are best placed to run those hotels, because we are neighbors, we know each other better. The next to Somalia is another big opportunity. In fact, I'll be heading there in the next 2 weeks in northern Somalia to go and see a 140-room hotel in a place called Hargeisa, which is Somaliland. Yeah. We're getting offers from Djibouti, we're getting offers from Zanzibar, Zimbabwe. So until you ask, until you start finding out, you actually don't realize how marketable you can be. So Sun Africa Hotels, actually sky is not the limit.
So from a boutique management company, which Sun Africa absolutely was, you are aiming to take Sun Africa into the big league. I believe you are getting a new flagship operation in Nairobi, a 120 hotel, 5-star city hotel in Hurlingham. And you mentioned already you just recently taken over what used to be Nyali International Beach Hotel, and it's now a Sun Africa Nyali Resort and Spa. Suddenly you get a couple of hundred more keys under your management.
Actually, taking over Nyali doubled our inventory straight away, because the size of Nyali is more than the size
compared to
Naivasha and
Kikrok, Sovereign, Kiboko.
Absolutely, we've doubled our inventory overnight.
Yes, overnight. Yes. And on top of that come 120 rooms in the not too distant future in Nairobi.
That makes it even better.
So this is actually a very different league the Sun Africa is suddenly playing in. What are your aims in regard of Nairobi? Because there is still some work to be done, and the competition in Nairobi has become very stiff in recent years. You mentioned international hotel companies; they've been flocking into Kenya.
What doesn't?
And then, of course, what are your plans for Nyali? Because Nyali is a name which brings back a lot of memories to a lot of people. It was a first hotel in Mombasa. It was the best hotel when it was managed by block hotels in the old days. What are your plans for that?
Firstly, we are very excited to have taken over Nyali Beach, because it is one hotel that is synonymous with Mombasa. You can't talk about tourism in Kenya Coast without talking about Nyali Beach. So for us, it's a very special thing, and personally for me, it's, deja vu, going back to where it all started for me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nostalgic moments and a lot of memories personally for me.
Even for me, it was the first hotel I ever stayed when I came to Kenya 4 decades ago.
That's why it all started for me. So for us to be associated with Nyali Beach is a great honor. And one of the first things we're doing is to bring back the staff motivation, which is lacking, to sort of the basics. And then we're also looking at renovation as we progress. We are not planning to close the hotel, and pump in so many millions, because you also know that the destination is quite challenged when it comes to Mombasa. And any owner will be looking at their return on investment. So we're not going to lie to the world and we're going to pump in some $20 million. No, it doesn't work that way. But for certain, we are going to have a continuous improvement. We'll be closing block by block as we improve the product, because we must compete. And that's what we want to do, to make sure that Nyali takes back its position up there. If you look at it, we were almost number 40 something on TripAdvisor, and within a month we're already in the top 15, and we hope to be able to be in the top 10 within the next 3 months. Because you can invest in cement and mortar, but if you don't deliver on the soft part, which is the human side and the service part,
service and food.
Yeah, it's pretty useless.
Yes.
So we are going to make sure that apart from just investing in the hardware, we're also going to invest in the people, make sure that food and beverage service, the accommodation experience, the whole, everything put together. You leave the resort with good memories, and then you'll also be able to tell the world. That's the bottom line. Nothing more, nothing less. If clients are happy, they come in and they'll be more than happy to tell the world. And I would like to reassure all our potential clients and repeat clients who've been coming to Nyali that Nyali is not a train smash. Nyali is certainly going through challenges like any other old resort, but it is certainly not a point of no return. It is down, yes, and the only way is up. Now, going to Nairobi Hurlingham, that is, the building is up, 90% done. The only thing that is remaining is actually the most difficult part, which is the finishing and the internal finish, which is mainly the decorations and the furniture and fittings. So the project stalled a little bit. We are speaking to our financiers so that we are able to tap into more funds so that we are able to finish that project. And we are very committed that we actually want to finish it, because remember, you cannot be a successful hotel group when you're not in the capital city.
Yeah.
That's key.
And Sovereign, as a boutique property, yes, is in Limuru, and that's a considerable distance outside.
It is small, and it's also not in Nairobi, because we must get something within Nairobi. And this is how it works. All our guests who are going to Kikro, all our guests who are going to Naivasha, they'll spend a night in Nairobi. At the moment, that business is ending in the competition.
Yeah.
And all we are saying is that we can actually generate 30 to 40% of our business.
Additional business by being in Nairobi.
Because we're already connected. And if you're going to be using Kikro, you're going to be using Naivasha, you're going to be using any of our property, including now Mombasa, then it means that naturally you like to stay with the same group in Nairobi. Hence the reason why we must get our hotel in Nairobi up and running like yesterday. Then we have the region. We are speaking to many investors. Apart from the region, we're also targeting under the Sun 101, which is the management arm. We are targeting a traveler's hotel concept, 3-star, the mid-tier, and this is mainly we're targeting a dozen counties across the
County headquarters.
county headquarters that don't even have hotels. A place like Lodwar don't have a good hotel. You go to Isiolo, they lack good hotels. Wajir, for that matter. All these far-flung counties which are receiving substantial amount from the central government, but they don't have any decent hotel. So we want to give them a nice, beautiful 3-star hotel where you find a comfortable bed, continental breakfast in the morning, warm shower, working air conditioner,
cold beers, in that order.
Absolutely. And you've got a small pool where you can take a dip, after a hard day at work, rather than flying into Lodwar and back the same day. And we're actually very focused in doing that. We've actually identified some of the counties that really need these services. We believe it's a no-brainer. It's going to work.
That's a very interesting concept, of course, which will take up considerable amount of resources, both human resources and capital, which brings me to an existing property which needs restoration. That's another old-time favorite, the Lake Baringo Club. Unfortunately, the rising lake water levels have literally swallowed up that property. I understood from your predecessor, Rahul, who moved for the company to Dubai, that plans were afoot to rebuild the property at a higher elevation on the same piece of land you have, with about 25 rooms, which is half the previous size. What's happening with that? Is that progressing? Is there a time frame on it?
I want to confirm the plans are there. We lost the lodge when the water levels increased, and hence the lodge was submerging water. So Lake Baringo was no more.
Well, all the neighboring properties, residential and other lodges and camps, were all swallowed.
So what we decided to do is that rather than take a chance and build something on the same spot, we decided to go slightly further up on a higher ground. And even then, whatever we're going to put up is similar to our Kiboko luxury company.
Okay. So it will be a camp rather than a lodge?
It's going to be a tented camp.
Okay.
Very upmarket tented camp.
Yes.
That's what we are aiming for. The plans are all out. At the same time, we also have another luxury camp coming up in Kiko in Masai Mara, very close to
another Kiboko.
Another Kiboko in the Masai Mara. All the plans are out. We're trying to sort out a couple of things.
That's on the way to Sand River, I believe.
Yes. And that will completely now
good migration area.
Our elite and luxury brand, to the next level. It also means that you're able to stay in one brand, across the country wherever you go. You either stay in the luxury or you either stay in the elite.
Explain that split of properties, how you internally classify it.
The first we have the luxury collection is the top end.
Yes. Sovereign.
Yeah, that will be the luxury collection. That is the top end, and then we have the elite collection. So these are 5-star, and then the next one is a 4-star. And then now that we have the Sun 101, which is more of the management.
For 3-star.
That's we're looking at that. 3-star. Then we're also trying to look at possibilities of doing the residence, because we have a lot of investors who are talking to us, and they put up very luxurious residences in Nairobi, Mombasa, and many other towns across the region, and they're looking for a good hotel group.
To manage those properties.
To manage those properties, because at the end of the day, even service residences is a hotel. And for me and for us, the way we look at it now, is a business opportunity. Nothing stops us from, branching out and coming up with some residence.
And I believe there is really a demand for longer term stay.
There is a huge demand. You go to the UN area, Gigiri, there are many people who are all looking forward to have a good, apartment or residence that is managed on the same basis like
and
a
maintained.
Hotel. Like a hotel. You go in, everything is like a hotel. Only that you're able to cook. Only that there is a restaurant on site if you wish to have that. So for us, it's a great opportunity. Again, we should not be caught napping. The international chains are coming in and they are opening their own residence management company, while they just find us seated, and we all just focus on hotel. So we are very aggressive that we want to go, into that line. And who knows, one day we even want to get into a hotel training school, Sun Hotel, Sun Africa Hotel School, because without the people, you can't run a good hotel. And what inspires me is when I look at a chain like Oberoi in India. Apart from running hotels, they've got a fantastic hotel school.
Yes.
So the reason, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That's what block hotels used to do in the old days. It was the hotel management
I went through
school.
the same training program. One of the last few days we went through it, and you can clearly tell a block hotel, manager from the rest of the, of the club.
Yeah.
So it is something I would love to replicate, our South Africa hotels. And as I say, sky is not the limit.
Excellent. Now, apart from being Group CEO of Sun Africa Hotels now, you also are the chairman of the Kenya Tourism Federation.
Right.
You previously, for many years, were chairman of the Mombasa Coast Tourist Association, which is now, I think, the Kenya Coast Tourist Association. Now you've gone up to the national level.
Yes.
What is your message for our viewers about Destination Kenya? We just ended the Magical Kenya Travel Expo.
Yes.
They had the highest number of exhibitors since the show started 7 years ago. They had the highest number of hosted buyers. It was generally seen as a success.
Yes.
Where is Destination Kenya heading, as far as you are concerned?
Taking over the helm of Kenya Tourism Federation, which is the umbrella body of all the tourism organizations in Kenya, is a great honor for me. And a lot of people sometimes mix things up. They confuse KTF with KTB.
Yeah.
Let me explain. KTB is the government body, which is purely to market the destination. They celebrated 20 years the other day. Kenya Tourism Federation was formed on the basis of working for the industry specifically to address matters of safety and security. The likes of veterans like Mike Akon, Mohammed, they're the people who are the brains behind KTF. And we've been growing it ever since. And then in the last 10 years, we decided to convert KTF just from addressing safety and security issues. The industry decided that it's going to be the official voice of the tourism industry in Kenya. Because the government they're listening to many people. And the government is saying, look here, folks, we can't be talking to hoteliers, and the next moment you're talking to tour operators. Tomorrow we are meeting airline people. Can you guys agree on how you're going to operate and come in as one? Hence the reason why we decided now to convert KTF to be the umbrella body. KTB have done a fantastic job to market the destination, despite the very tight budget that they got. When you look at the budget they've been allocated, it's less than 1/8 of what South Africa has overall. So which means that despite the tight
Fraction what Egypt spends.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a drop in the ocean what they've been given. Nevertheless, they've been voted several times the best
Leading tourist board in Africa.
I think it's only fair that we appreciate, what Kenya Tourism Board has done. The chairman, the CEO, and you'll also notice that the Kenya Tourism Board is very unique in the sense that more than half of the board members are actually industry players. So what the government is saying, look here, you know where it hurts, come up with a resolution, what you want us to do for you, run away with it. The chairman, the board members are all industry players. And I think that's one of the best things under the Uhuru government that we've been able to achieve. Now, what is the future of Kenya's tourism? The future is very bright, and tourism industry in Kenya is becoming very resilient. We've just gone through an election, very tough one in August. Now we are facing a repeat election only for the presidential, but we've gone against the grain in the sense that we've actually registered more arrivals than many years in the past couple of years.
July was 17.5% up. First time since 2013,
So
over 100,000 arrivals at the two airports.
People expected cancellations
And a drop.
but it was
Hasn't happened.
contrary. And we had one of the best seasons in August, which is even going to be a record for us. Because at one point, Prof, is that the two operators could not get enough land cruisers to take people on safari in Masai Mara. Kenya ran short of land cruisers. That's how
That's novel.
that's how fantastic
the business
the
was.
season has been. Okay, so what is the future? The future is looking really good because all these international chains and all these investors will not be coming to Nairobi if they're not seeing something. Right? The Jomo Kenyatta International Airport has been expanded. Looks quite good, especially for the region. And then plans are also advanced stage where they want to do a second runway. Now, if that happens, that takes us to another level now.
In fact, the African Development Bank just committed 19.5 billion Kenya shillings, which is approximately half of the estimated cost. So the project should be well underway in the very near future.
Absolutely. So it is not turning back. We are going places. And for the first time, we are having what? 3-4 hotels at the airport.
Yes, actually,
you know?
the number 2 and number 3 are opening up very shortly.
Absolutely.
That's Four Point Sheraton and Garden Inn by Hilton.
The Hilton Group here is opening. Then we have the
Lasisi is already there.
Lasisi is already up. And then you go slightly further up, then you come to the places like Olusereni, which
Yeah.
is almost tripling
Yeah.
its own inventory. So all these investors will have seen something for them to have all the confidence, to invest, in a country. So we're very, very optimistic. And then we have the counties. All the counties are coming together to promote tourism. Remember, the devolution is really working in this country because every single county has a minister for tourism.
Yeah.
And they actually have a council of tourism ministers, and they're trying to see how they're going to work together. Now, Kenya Tourism Federation, in conjunction with Kenya Tourism Board, we want to bring them together so that we can actually market all these counties, because each one has a special thing that they want to give to the rest of Kenyans and to the region. So stability is key for us. We believe we're going to go through a smooth, the repeat presidential elections, and we should be able to continue doing business, and we do what we do best. So Nairobi is going to become the hub, as it has always been. We're also very happy and pleased that there is serious changes at Kenya Airways, our national carrier.
Yeah.
For a destination to do well, you must have a working carrier. And we also the benefits of working Kenya Airways, them good old days. And we are happy now that we have a new CEO. He's brought a whole new team, and he did exit the people that we believe will not be able to deliver. So as tourism players, we really support the changes, by Michael Joseph, who's the chairman, and the new CEO now, because for us, successful Kenya Airways means a successful tourism industry. If you're not able to get easily to a destination, then that's a problem. Go ask Tanzania, who don't have a national carrier. They're really struggling. You go to Rwanda, it's small, yes, but they are making baby steps and they're moving to grow their national carrier. And they're doing quite well, and they can see the benefits out of it. So it's very, very crucial that our national carrier does well.
Coming towards the end, while at MKTE, there was a lot of talk about launch of the Kenya Convention Bureau.
Yes.
Kenya is very keen to tap into the MICE sector.
Yes.
A lot of the hotels coming to Nairobi, of course, are looking at that segment.
Yes.
Now, you've been at the coast for a very long time. You've been advocating the building of infrastructure, and a lot is passionately underway. Yes. What is missing is a second national convention center here in Mombasa, is probably a third one in the city of Kisumu. Those are the three cities we have. There are some mini hubs in Naivasha. What is your ambition as a coastman, for Mombasa in particular, to be able to accommodate big conferences, incentives, 2,000, 3,000 people?
The dream is to have a proper functioning convention center in Mombasa, or the entire Kenya coast. All is not lost because we have a private developer, the former Africa Safari Club, Paradise Shanzo, the Pride In Group have invested in a convention that can take 2,000 plus people. So for us, that's a step in the
It's
right
a start.
If anything, we are going to be hosting the Skull World Congress at that venue in
Next year.
Next year, yes. And there are a lot of international conventions that have already been slated to be coming to the Paradise Convention Center, which means the hotel itself is only able to get probably 250, 300 parks. The rest of the people must find a place in other hotels. So it's just like what happened in Durban. You know, you get the Durban Convention Center, which simply ignited, you know, and basically made
Was
Durban.
acted as a catalyst.
It's a catalyst, you know, you make it work. So a convention center is very, very crucial for us, and we already identified the land, we've identified the place, you know, right across the Lafarge, the Bamburi, the Halapak, and plans are still there. We've not lost it because we are looking at a convention of 5,000, 10,000 people. But for us to achieve that also, we must also fix our roads. It's important. You can't end up having 5,000 people and you still want to move them on the same road. But having mentioned about roads, there's a lot of infrastructure development going on in Mombasa right now.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. The access to the airport, you've seen it. We
Yes.
are getting the first time over, we are getting flyovers, we are getting dual carriage going to the airport. So fantastic.
Yes, the railway connection now between Nairobi and Mombasa.
That is also happening because they are doing a dual carriage between here and a place called Mariakani and even past Mariakani, which is almost 70 kilometers.
And south coast
And
connection.
then they'll eventually do all the way to Nairobi. Then the south coast one, they are getting into the second phase and eventually the third phase. And they have a special road right inside the airport that's going to connect you to the south coast straight away.
From within the airport,
Within the
direct.
airport. You don't have to come out.
Yeah.
You just straight away go in and take the first bridge,
Yeah.
which is 700 meters, and the second bridge, 1.3 kilometers,
Yeah.
which is called the Dogokundu bypass. And that is going to take you to any of the south coast resorts within half an hour at most. So those are very, very positive developments. And when you look at south coast again, we have got a bypass from Kinango that takes you to Samburu, Kinango, and then straight away to Diani.
Yeah.
From Mariakani, you are able now to connect directly to Kilifi and Malindi without coming to Mombasa. Then we have the Sala Gate from Malindi to go to Savo is also being tarmac. And then we also tarmacking the road between Garsen going to Lamu.
Yeah.
So those are all very positive developments.
Crucial infrastructure development to get people actually around the country.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
And we just delivered 2 new ferries, which has really speeded up, you know, the transfers between Likoni, which is south, and the island. Yeah. And then, of course, we're also getting a lot of scheduled flights who have been licensed to come into Mombasa. The likes of Ethiopian Airlines that are doing double flights every day, which is 14 flights a week. Then we're getting daily flights from Turkey, which is 7 flights. And then we've got Rwanda Air, which is doing
3 times a week.
Hopefully they'll go to...
And they continue to Dubai actually. So you have a direct flight with traffic rights from Dubai.
Yes. So there are a lot of good things happening all around us. Then we are going to finish very soon the cruise ship terminal, which is almost 70% done, and hopefully before the end of the year they are going to complete it, and we will be able to attract, you know, and host any cruise ship in the world. And when the cruise ships are not there, we are looking at converting that into a waterfront, just like what you have in a place like Cape Town.
In Cape Town, for instance.
Absolutely, with restaurants, you know, eating places, you know, shopping, and you experience a true waterfront, what it means. And Port of Mombasa is again long overdue.
Well, there, my dear readers and viewers, speaks a true visionary who has great ambitions not only for South Africa hotels, but for Kenya as a destination. Mohammed, Mohammed, before we close, what is your final message for my readers and viewers?
The final message to your readers and viewers is that firstly we thank you wholeheartedly for the support you've given to tourism, not only in Kenya but the entire region. You know, you are the alternative media. You tell the world what they don't